Hey, good morning. Not gonna lie, I did not want to come in here this morning. Not because I don't want to work out, but because it's freezing in here. And I had the heater going since quite early this morning, and it's not warming up too much. Anyway, I'm sure I'll be warm in about 5-10 minutes. Once we get going into the warm up, all will be well. But did my yoga by the fireplace this morning. That's what I always do. I do my yoga. I pulled the heater over closer to me. I do my yoga with the fireplace on. And then I did my core. I don't really want to step away from this fireplace right now to go into that cold garage. But anyway, here we are. And I'm happy to report I am feeling it from yesterday, but not nearly as much as last week. So that is good. Comfortably sore, I would say. So just a reminder as we get going, as we get started here, to go at your own pace, right? Important to modify anything that I do that might not be in your wheelhouse yet, the key word being yet, or, whether, and that could be for many different reasons. Maybe you're just getting started again into a workout regime or fitness regime. Maybe like you took a break over the holidays. Maybe you took a break since last holidays, like 2021 or 2019. Whatever it is, you're here, you're getting started, you're getting going. Give yourself grace. That's super important in your journey. Probably the most important thing is to learn how to give yourself grace so that you don't get in your own way and shut your own self down, right? Like when we get defeated or we feel ashamed or all the things that go along with, hey, how did I get here, right? Like why can't I do more? And sometimes, you can be doing all the things and you're still going to have days like that. Like, at your absolute fittest, you can't do some of the things, that you feel like you should be able to do. That's life, as they say, right? And the important thing is that you're here, and just go back to that feather analogy that I shared last week, which is every time you do something, good or bad, you do something or you don't do something, there's two sides of the scale, right? Like, so picture that scale, and you have one side that is all of the things you're doing that move you towards your goals, and then you have the other side that's all the things that you're doing or not doing to hold you back from your goals. You're always putting everything, it's like a accounting balance sheet, right? Like, so it has to go on one side or the other, right? Everything has to be accounted for. Every choice you make, every decision you make, whether it's doing nothing, right? So you think that would be neutral, but it's not neutral because you're not doing something, right? So sometimes doing nothing is good. Like, I didn't have eating no snacks in the evening. That's doing nothing. So that's going to go on the good side of scales. Everything has to be accounted for on that scale. And most of what we do is going to be a feather, and that's the impact it's going to have on your results. Now, what we tend to do, like I'm already seeing it, it's January 11th. So let's say someone started January 1st into their new, decisions and choices and whatnot. And I'm already seeing people defeated that they're not getting results. Y'all, it's been 11 days. It's been 11 days. That's if you started January 1st, hard start, right? Like, we have the expectation to get results way too fast, way too soon, and we give up when we don't see those results. You've got to remember that feather on the scale, that every time you do something good, it's a feather. It's not going to move the scale until one day it does, right? One day that scale will drop. Like, suddenly it'll seem, right? But it might not be till March. Why? And hey, I feel it too. I've gotten on the scale a few times. My scales have moved. And I feel like I've made some pretty big changes. I've been really good. But like, think about this logically for a second. Think about, like, this is what I try to think about when I think about weight loss is, I don't know, picture your arm or your leg or your back, your thigh, whatever it is. Picture that body part, like what it looks like. Like, why do we expect that to instantly decrease in size? How's that even possible? Like, think, you can't just take yourself and shrink it down, and yet that's literally what we expect. We literally expect in a week or 2 weeks or a month for like our physical being to drastically change. Like, imagine that happened to your house or your car, that it like deteriorated or changed in a month. No, it takes time. And you think that it came on so fast, but it didn't come on so fast. It was the same thing. It was those little things that you were doing that you didn't think really mattered, or things that you were skipping or not doing that you didn't think really mattered. And then one day, that feather goes on and you put on 10 pounds. Your body doesn't like go from this to this instantaneously. I don't know if I'm making any sense right now, but in my mind I'm like trying to describe the visual of, you know, an arm shrinking. It doesn't work that way. It has to happen over time. Now, that's not to say there aren't people who have fast weight loss, and they do. So fast weight loss on the scale is going to be water weight, bloating. It's not shrinking your actual size of your body, if that makes sense. If you lose a lot of weight really fast, think about how that adversely affects your body. It's like a shock, right? It's like trauma. It's not good. Your body needs to adapt slowly over time to gradual stimulus, if that makes sense. Anyway, but I heard something on Best Me Day 6. So with this Best Me program, those of you who are doing it with me, make sure you're watching the videos. Like, literally, that is where all of the value is wrapped up in this program. Otherwise, it's just another program. You can download a million programs to follow online. If you're not taking the coaching and the education that comes with it, which is where all the value is, because one of the things I keep hearing them say over and over and over again, that we want to teach you to fish. You know that saying, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him to fish, he eats for a lifetime. The goal of Best Me program is to teach us to fish, is to teach us the why behind things and the strategy and the reasons why they're telling us to do things a certain way. That way you can now implement it in other ways, right? If you understand, if you know how to fish, you can eat for a lifetime, eat optimally and healthy for a lifetime, and that's the goal. So anyway, so where all of that knowledge is wrapped up is in the weekly Q&A calls. So they did 2 now. They're on Monday nights. I've learned so much from those calls. Like, I usually have to listen to the replay because I think they're at 8:30. I know, I'm an old lady. I go to bed at 9:30, so that's like literally the hour that I see my husband each day. Anyway, so I watch it the next day. So I watched it yesterday. And then the other thing they're doing, they have 35 tips. So you can subscribe to the text and they'll get sent to you 1 per day. But I just was too lazy to bother to subscribe, so I just go in and watch them each day. And can't do 3 things at once here. Watching the clock. The tip for day 6 talked about, I love this. I'm going to do a little video on this today. We have these arbitrary timelines that we've made up, right? So we as humans have created the calendar, we've created the clock, we've created time, right? That is something we created so that we can manage our lives, right? So one of the arbitrary timelines that we have in our life as humans is the calendar, 30 days, right? 30-day, we operate in 30-day chunks. Now I'm not going to say it nearly as eloquently as she did, but it's day 6, it's tip 6, and she talked about how to us subconsciously, the start and finish line is the start of the month and the end of the month. We have this arbitrary 30-day expectation of XYZ to happen, right? And we're going to commit to this for the month. And we're supposed to see all this thing. Well, the body doesn't necessarily run by your timeline. It doesn't necessarily follow what you think it should do in 30 days, right? It's going to do what it needs to do. Like it might take 45 days or 60 days. She talked about 60 days. Because she said, like, we need to get out of this kind of mindset of the 30-day thing. I'm grabbing my bench, you guys. Now remember, you can do these exercises on the floor, or you can do them on a bench like me. Whatever. Most of you probably, just destroying the place here, don't have a bench, in which case you won't use the bench. And we're going to do a similar workout to last week for body. There's going to be a bit of continuity happening. We're going to try the heavier ones today for something. These are cold, I'm just saying. These are very cold. Okay. So we're going to start with bench press and these guys, bench flies. That's what we'll say. All right, I got to start the clock though. Okay, so get ready. So you're going to be on your bench or on your floor with your barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, whatever you got, whatever you're using. If you're brand spanking new, you're going to think I'm crazy and you're going to think this is nuts. But you can do the exact same movement with nothing. Because if you're brand new and you haven't worked out, we want to just get you moving your body, moving your joints, moving your muscles, and we don't want you being sore like I was last week for 4 days, because that is an enormous deterrent to coming back, right? And I gotta watch that tip again, because I really liked what she said. I really liked how she explained the arbitrary timeline that we put on ourselves, that we need to kind of release and go, hey, because it was all about moderation. So back to that scale for a second. You can't have, if you're gonna do this for life, right, these habits, healthy, optimal way of living, which is the goal, you gotta stop trying to rush it, because rushing it means if you're trying to rush it, you're doing that for 2 reasons. These weights are so cold. Holy crap. Okay, we're going to our pulls. I don't know if I can do these 25s, but I'm gonna try. Can't even feel my hands. So make sure that chest is up, and you want to be pulling with your back. If you're in a rush, there's two things. One, you're anxious to stop doing what you're doing, which means no bueno. You want to be developing habits that you can commit to ongoing, right? So if there's something that you're trying to do and it's not so cold and it's not working for you, maybe like nothing, they keep talking a lot in this program too. I mean, over and over and over, they're saying, understand we're all different. There's not just one way of doing things. There's not just one way of eating. We all have a very unique, that's part of being human. Everything, microbiome, glucose, like composition of our body. We all have a unique and and different paths. Oh, goodness. 30 seconds of those seems just so long. I haven't counted how many it gives me, but. So they're teaching us kind of a way. They're teaching us how to fish, and then it's up to you to take what they teach and fit it into your life and make the adjustments and modifications to your life that A, that you need to make, and B, that works for you. Because doing things the exact same way, so like I'm doing my best to share with you guys in my social media what I'm doing in the hopes, okay, we're gonna go to skull crushers next. In the hopes that that gives you ideas and maybe you can take some stuff that I'm doing. And that's what I'm doing. If I try something I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that one. I'm definitely good for meatloaf for a while. Not because I didn't like it, I really enjoyed it, but nobody else ate it. So I ate meatloaf, I think, like 6 nights in a row. Something nutty like that. Use your core on this one. That's one of the things I love about those ones. Okay, I'm going to grab the bicep curls next. Okay, we're going to actually modify. We're going to do bicep curl to press. To throw in a little bit of shoulders this week. But I just love how they keep emphasizing we're not aiming for perfection, right? We're aiming for better. And if you can commit to a lifetime of aiming for better, you're good. Because you're always going to look for little tweaks, little ways that you can adjust what you're doing. Whew. Okay, I want to do presses. So we're going to do alternating shoulder presses instead of tricep extensions. These are gonna burn quickly. Already feeling them. Make sure you're pressing up and over your head. See how I'm ending up straight up above my head. I'm not out to the side. I'm up. So you're pressing up and into the middle. Okay, that is round 1. Take a little rest and we start over again. I mean, a lot of the stuff's based around eggs. I happen to love eggs. I've never, ever had egg whites. This is my first time ever having egg whites in my life. And I'm loving them. I'm finding them, like they're changing my world. Cleaning my garage here while I'm talking to you guys. They're so versatile. There's so many things you can do with them. And I never understood like why people eat egg whites. I'm like, why we gotta eat egg whites? Like, why we gotta waste the egg yolk? Isn't all the nutrition in the egg yolk? And this is my point. I probably would have had that layer of resistance around the egg whites only if they didn't explain. They explained why. The reason why they use egg whites is because everything in the program is designed for optimal. These are your optimal choices. Can you eat an egg? Yes, you can. Why is an egg white optimal? Because they count it as a protein. So egg whites, and this is kind of a cool thing to understand, which I didn't, are only protein. Like there is like nothing else in an egg white. It's just protein. In an egg yolk, there's fat. Fat's not bad, fat's good. It's just we still got to account for the fact that we're now eating fat, right? Like you can't just eat something and not account for it because it's good for you. It still counts, right? It doesn't mean it's bad. But so if you're looking for just protein, and truly I think the one thing that's irrefutable in health science and diet, no matter what regime, no matter what type of diet you're on, is protein is the building block, and protein is kind of the non-negotiable in terms of there's a recommended amount of protein that we should each be getting. And we can only absorb so much at a time. Like, so you can't just go, oh, hey, I need 130 grams of protein, so I'm gonna eat it all at breakfast. It doesn't really work that way. Like, it won't upload. Won't upload all at once. You can only upload so much protein at once. I like that. And that's not the right word. I think it's, I can't think of the word. Anyways, we're gonna go with upload because that's same deal. The part of the diet that's kind of like negotiable and the it depends part is the fat and the carbs. So yeah, some diets are like, all fat, bring on all the fat, no carbs. Other diets are like, no fat, low fat. And quite frankly, both work. What works best for you? I personally find I'm better, well, with a little of each, to be honest. I ate a vegan diet for a few years, which tends to be higher in carbs because now you're cutting out, like you're eating a lot of vegetables, you're eating a lot of grains, legumes to get your proteins. So it's going to be a higher carb. So that means you got to watch your fat intake. If you're going with a more keto lifestyle and a lower carb, you got to watch your carb intake. But the building block always starts with the protein. And so that's what I like about this program is it kind of teaches you, okay, this is how much protein you're having. That is non-negotiable. If you have this many points in protein, then you can play with the rest. Well, what I very quickly found out is fat is worth 2 points and carbs are worth 1 point and veggies are worth no points. So I like food and I like a decent amount of food. And so I am eating a lot of veggies because that means I can fill up my plate. And I can trade in a fat and I get 2 carbs. So I'll have, like, instead of having avocado with my chicken or salmon, I can have 2 grains, right, or a grain, and it's still only 3 points. Am I making sense? I am so babbly today, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't forget any of the exercises. I don't think I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7, 8. Did my core this morning. Anyway, one of the big things for me is learning that moderation, because don't you guys find too, like, moderation gets abused? And it's like, once I start down the moderation road, it's like, somehow my moderation tends to be the bigger side of the scale. Right, like we say 80-20, right, but I think a lot of us flip the 80-20. So we think we're doing 80% good and 20%, you know, a little bit more loosey-goosey, when actually we're probably 80% loosey-goosey and 20% good. But if we never track, we can trick ourselves into thinking, oh, I'm being so good, I don't understand why, you know, I'm not getting the results I want. So I think for now, I'm trying to be pretty good. And then when I get tired of being so good, then you go back to your why, really. Like, so, you know, you're like, oh, I just want to live a little. I just want a glass of wine and some chips. You know, I've gone a month without them. Why can't I have them one night? Well, then I have them one night, then it rolls into 5 nights, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I end up being... So I get why people want to do all or nothing. But I guess that's where you have to, like, work with the mind and figure out, well, why do I want wine and chips? And do I really want it? And is it worth it? And then you have to ask yourself that question. Like, I'm choosing to put a feather on the other side of the scale. Is it worth it to me? Because so often we do it just mindlessly, right? Like somebody said in one of my group chats yesterday, oh, I miss mindless snacking. And I'm like, oh, me too. Like, my kids will come in the kitchen and have some chips, and then they'll leave the chip bag open, like literally open, like just like begging you to come and grab some, which is the worst. And I keep yelling at them, like, stop doing that, because Daddy and I are trying not to eat chips right now. Or crackers, or just anything lying out that you can just like grab. And you know, I miss not having to think about or not thinking about my food, but then I go, okay, well, why am I doing this? Oh yes, because I have goals. And if the goals mean more to you than the mindless snacking, that's, you know, on my birthday I made a conscious decision to have a glass of wine. And I didn't make the decision till I got there, because if I felt like it, I had predisposed to myself. I'm doing dry January, with the exception of my birthday, if I want. And I did, I wanted. And you know what, I was so proud of my husband, because he didn't. He had cranberry and soda. He abstained, which kind of made me feel a bit guilty, but I thought, no, it's not his birthday. So I had wine, but then I also was very conscious about every decision I made at dinner. Like, I didn't go off the rails. I didn't say, oh, it's my birthday, I can have whatever I want all day. I stuck to, we went to the movies. We went to see the Whitney Houston movie, which, oh my God, is so good. I'm going to see it again. My sister said she wants to see it, so I'm like, I'll go see it. I don't know, have you guys seen it yet? I have heard some people like rave about it, and then other people are like, yeah, it's okay. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I didn't even look at my phone. Like, usually I'll grab my phone and look every now and then while I'm at the movie. I know, terribly bad habit, but I didn't even look. I just loved it. I love movies like that though. Like, I love biography type, documentary type movies that are about somebody, like true stories. And I didn't even I brought a bag of veggies, like cucumbers and cut up veggies in my purse. And I brought a protein shake and some tea. That's what I had. I literally looked like a weirdo, because I had my water bottle, I had my tea, I had my smoothie. Renelle's like, how many drinks are you bringing in? I know, like, I know. Can you carry one? So I'm not carrying 3. These are killing me today. So it was good. So like I said, like, if I wanted popcorn, I didn't really want it. So I didn't have it. I didn't have it just to have it. And you think that's kind of what we're after, is training our brain to make conscious decisions with not influenced by emotion and feeling, right? Like, sometimes I want that stuff, and most of the time I don't. So I'm not just eating it because it's there. That's hard though, that's easier. It sounds so simple, but oh. Oh yes, skull crushers. Try to use I love kind of engaging my core on this one. Cold today. Oh man. And I was so excited this morning because I saw, just before the sun was coming up, it looked like the sun was coming up, which I haven't seen in, gosh, it feels like forever. I haven't seen a sunrise. Just it goes from dark sky to light to gray sky, black sky to gray sky. And it looked like it was going to be blue skies, and then Kathy said, no, I don't think so. I'm like, no, I'm sure that's blue sky. You could see the outline of the clouds, and then by the time the sun rose, the sky was full of clouds again. I'm like, and I don't want to complain, because we've had really like such incredibly mild temps, which I'm not going to lie, I'm loving that. And I was thinking this morning, it was quite a bit colder, would I rather sun with cold temps or mild temps with cloud, like with overcast? And I don't know what the answer is. I'm spoiled, I want kind of some of both. I'm not sad that it hasn't been cold. Definitely not sad because Alright, we've got one more set, and then we're going to finish with, we'll see what time it is when we're finished. I've got to go back out for my hiking group today. So that's another kind of tidbit, you guys, for that I think about a lot, is how active are we, right? So it's great to work out. You want to work out. Workouts should serve a purpose, right? Like these strength workouts are literally to strengthen your body, strengthen your joints, your bones, help with overall mobility and movement, and create a strong, resilient body. But they don't like a workout doesn't replace activity and movement. So the more movement that you can create. Bye, Dawn. Thanks for joining us this morning. The more movement and activity we can incorporate into our day, right? The more you're serving your body's needs, which is movement. Our bodies are created for movement. They were never designed to sit, right? Which is what our lifestyle is now. Like our lifestyle is, I was listening to a podcast this morning, our lifestyle is very different from our ancestors, and we inherited, it'll be interesting to see like in another 100 years or 200 or however many, if the body evolves into a different kind of machine, because our bodies were designed a certain way, but we don't live that way. Like our bodies are designed to respond to changes in light, right? To signify, like in the dark, which is probably why we are more tired in the winter, because our bodies are designed to shut down and slow down when the sun goes down, right? And then everything speeds up, kind of like your computer goes into sleep mode, right? So in the morning, you fire it up, everything turns on, and that's like kind of like what our bodies should do in response to light, but we don't. Well, we're up a lot longer than the sun in the winter, but even in the summer, like how many of us are getting up with the sun, like other than Jen Sharp? I know Jen Sharp's up and then probably goes to bed. So Jen Sharp, you're probably pretty close to what your biorhythms want you to be, except not in the winter because it's dark, right? We wouldn't be getting up till like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we'd be going to bed at 5. Which is what I want to do. I don't want to go to bed, but I definitely feel my body slow right down literally as soon as the sun goes down. And then activity, right? Like I've mentioned this, I think, to you guys, but huge Yellowstone fan, you guys, huge. And so obviously I'm watching 1923. And what I love about about shows that are set in a different era, is I'm just fascinated with the lifestyle. difference from what we live. And whew, there's a scene in the 3rd or 4th episode where they're in town. They've ridden the horses and taken the buggies into the city of Bozeman, Montana. And there's a salesman in town selling electricity, right? So this is a new thing. And then showing them the appliances that can be powered. So it's showing them the refrigerator, showing them the washing machine, and their response was, well, if my laundry only takes, a couple hours now, and my refrigerator's doing this, and if I have these machines to do all this stuff, what am I going to do? But what am I going to do all day? And he said, oh, well, you'll do more leisurely things, like go to the cinema or go for a picnic. But like their life back then was literally like to live. Back many years ago, there was a show, I can't even remember what it was called, but they sent these 2 couples to some remote place to fend for themselves. They had nothing, to learn what it was like to be a pioneer. And, basically you work all day just to stay alive, right? Like to prep your food, preserve your food, prepare for winter, keep warm, all that stuff, right? Well, what do we do if we're not doing that stuff? Like, what do we do with our time? And now we have less time than ever. And they joked, well, yeah, because we're going to have to work way harder to pay for all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, that would be the definition of 2022, 2023. Yeah, see, 100 years later. I just clued into that. Woo! Almost done. Anyway, the bottom line is, the body's made for movement. The body's not made for sedentary lifestyle. And I find the more sitting around and the more bored I am, the more I eat. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Like that. Not only are we less active, we eat way more. I'm guaranteeing that we ate way more than our ancestors ate on a regular basis. But anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about today, you guys, but. Woo! All right. Okay. So we're going to finish with, let me see what time it is. Get all this stuff out of the way, and we're going to do a quick plank set. Throw in some core that uses the upper body. Big gap in my mats. I'm going to challenge myself today, and I'm going to use the ball for my plank. So we're going to do a 30-second plank on the ball, and then we're going to do a 30-second plank each side. Now we're done. Okay, going. Don't need to use a ball. You can do this right on the floor. If you're using a ball, make sure if you bring your ball in closer, it makes it easier. If you bring your ball out further, it makes it harder. Pulling that belly button in, holding still. We got about 10 seconds left. Only use the ball if you're, a more kind of advanced. Definitely not if you're just starting back. Remember, you're not trying to get all your results in the first week of January. Save some for the rest of the year. So yeah, anyways, back to that comment I made earlier. It's like, so many people have given up already. Like, it's not even 2 weeks into January. Like, you shouldn't have results yet. You should just be getting going. You shouldn't, your momentum hasn't even started yet. Like, we have 12 months of the year. It's like we have this, back to that, what that lady was saying about the 30 days. We have this expectation to have our results by the end of the first month of the year. They're called New Year's resolutions, not first week of January resolutions, right? Like, commit for the year. Commit to something for the year and stop looking for your results every day. Just commit to it. Put that feather on the scale every single day. Pick 2 or 3 things. I'm going to do this all year, right? Small things that can become a new lifestyle change you're going to do all year, and then next year you're going to go, holy crap, I can't believe what that little change has done over 365 days. You guys already know the power of this. Those of you who've done the Daily Move Challenge, you know how powerful small things can be. So have an awesome day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again for joining me. Take care, you guys.